Hello and welcome to another episode of Baggers Chat. Unfortunately, we are filming this off the back of a loss to the Cats. How are we feeling, boys?
Shitty ass.
It's a little bit flat, mate.
Yeah, a bit that way, isn't it? Obviously, we lost by quite convincing in the end. 8 goals, 7, 55, 12, 13, 85. We're now 11 and 6, and we sit 7th on the ladder. But I think that is still still about 2 games clear, I think. So, it is 7th, which is not ideal, but we're still sort of sitting in there, which is good. I had us by 8 points, so obviously I was, 38 points off. Ethan, what did you have us by, mate?
Yeah, I had us by 4. Leading into the game, I was confident, but I just had a little thing in my head just going, I think the Cats will get over us. But they're just one of those teams. They don't lose many games. They're just a very disciplined side.
Absolutely. Pato?
Yeah, always tip the Blue Baggers. Had us by 2 points, but it felt a lot like the Port Adelaide game last year, especially just like we had chances, especially, but I just don't think we were ever actually a chance to win. Like, I don't think we'd ever had that 5 or 6 goal just dominance sort of quarter. And I don't think Geelong were as good as they were against Melbourne, but I just think that we were just simply outclassed.
I think that's a great way to say it. I don't think they played out of their skin. I think they were generally lucky that we were pretty average. We know these games will come, but yeah, we were pretty average. We got enough of the ball, but it seems like we just lacked that sort of, impact, I guess. And needed that one player or a couple of players to grab it by the scruff of the neck, which I think Charlie tries to do. He's a very entertaining type player, but we probably missed another player or two to really just take it on. And we ended up having 42 inside 50s, which is about 13 less than our usual. Pato?
Is that probably where maybe like an Owies might help out? Like, I think we especially missed Owies. Like, Motlop probably didn't get many opportunities to really reignite the group, but I think TDK also was one of the guys that really tried. Like, when he kicked that goal, like, yes, we were down by 20 points when he kicked that goal, but he was like, come on, boys, like, let's get going. Like, let's start to go. But I think Owies especially, we missed his energy. But yeah.
I think that's a great call, because someone behind me when TDK kicked that, he said sort of, it was quite late from memory, and he goes, you've done nothing up until now, and you do that and carry on like you've just won us the game. I thought that was a bit unfair. I thought he played okay. And I think he was trying to do what we just said and try and get a bit of spark into the game. Is that how you read it, Ethan?
Yeah, I thought Tommy was great. I think him and Charlie specifically, they're just trying to bring energy out of nothing sometimes, and especially in that first quarter, first half, Charlie kicked 3 goals, and every time he kicks a goal, he just gets around it. So people go, "Oh, he might look like a flog," but he gets the team up and about. But yeah, it's just we just lacked energy all night, really. Yeah,
absolutely, mate. Since we're with you, we'll stay with you, and do you want to run us through the matchups we went through?
Yeah, so obviously we looked, around the whole ground, really. A lot of the matchups, for mine, a lot of blokes got beaten in the individual matchups, and we just got to summarise like that. We can't look at individually here. Obviously, you got your key forwards in Hawkins and Cameron, who I didn't think they dominated, but they kicked their goals. They kicked their goals when they needed to. What were your thoughts on that, Pato? Do you reckon we did enough on them, or do you reckon we just let them off the leash a little bit too much?
I think once again we were just simply outclassed by a better side. Like, I mean, we were speaking about during the week, like Hawkins and Cameron probably are a little bit behind Harry and Charlie, but Harry and Charlie weren't great on the weekend, and Jeremy and Tom were. Obviously they didn't win them the game, but they were solid enough to get their side over the line. I think, I think you said it perfectly there. Like, just guys like Stengel, he was kind of like one of those guys that kind of got their group going. I feel like a few of those guys, especially. But I don't know. Just a bit flat.
Yep, Sammy. It's just a question for you. How do you reckon our whole back six kind of matched up on the weekend? How do you reckon they played? Because personally, I think it was one of their worst performances.
Spot on.
I have to agree. Yeah, I think they were pretty average. I think we were sort of lucky in a way that Jeremy Cameron, although what did he kick in the end? Was it 3 goals he kicked in the end? I think he missed a couple as well. So I think we got. I was trying to pull it up. Yeah, I think he could get 3 goals, 3. So he sort of missed a couple there. So I think we were sort of lucky in that sense. But I thought we were pretty average. I think Weeders, second game back, I think it is. So is what it is. I don't think he was too great, and Youngie as well. I just think we're sort of lucky to an extent.
Yeah, we looked behind. Our ball movement from back 50 was very, very lackluster. We just didn't have that flair and confidence. I think I said it at half time or 3/4 time. I said, where's the confidence? We're just opting to go backwards. I know, there's certain times where you do switch and you do, just slow it down a little bit, but there's a time when you need to get fucking going. And that was a lot of times. And
I think that's well said. There was someone too scared to actually get it going, and they were just sort of trying to do the little kicks, sort of like, I'll kick it to you, then he'll get it going. And then he has the same mentality where it's like, it never got going, and we turned it over and they kicked a goal or whatever. So yeah, I think that's good point.
It was this, I think, it might have been the third quarter or last quarter. I think we went a switch. I think Walshy went to Weeders when he just didn't need to go to him. And then Weeders went to Young and no one was on the wing. So he tried to force a kick and we just put ourselves under pressure ourselves. The other team didn't really put pressure on us. Obviously Geelong did in certain stages of the game, but when you got the ball in hand, don't fucking put pressure on yourselves.
Yeah.
Like what are you? It's really frustrating. We'll move on to the midfield. I thought there was a bit of the game kind of just, I don't know. Obviously Blixarves took a tagging role and went on Cripps and did very well on him. I thought Cripper started well, but obviously ending with 17 touches. What were your thoughts on Cripper's game, Pato?
Yeah, 17 touches probably isn't enough. And I think, as you said, I think Blixarves, I know that we were speaking about it during the week. I thought that Blixarves was probably going to go to Cripper because he did such a great job in Petrarca the week before. So I think he did a great job. I don't think Cripper really could do anything else because, as Blixarves said after the game, I think he said that Cripper could be a ruckman, but I think it was a great matchup for Blixarves because he kind of is more around that sort of height around Cripper. And he is a great player because as I think Scott said after the game in the press conference, he said that he's a midfielder, but he has been playing back for most of his career, and it's just like, well, it's unbelievable to think that this guy could actually be a midfielder because he's the size of a ruckman. So I thought he did a great job, but there was just no standouts. Like, once again, Walshy finished with 33, but did he really have a great game? I don't know. I thought he was good, but I don't know. Other than that, mate, no one really else.
It pretty much sums it up. It's hard to reflect on a game that really was just, I don't know. It's hard to explain. It's not even angry. It's just that kind of just, you leave the stadium going, why the fuck did I even go?
Disappointment.
No, but Sammy, what were your thoughts on the midfield, and do you reckon they had enough impact?
No, I don't think they had enough impact. We definitely got enough of it. We had more disposals than them. We chose to although we had more disposals, they had more kicks, and we had about 30 more handballs. I think whether that's down to handball it when we should kick it type situation because of the pressure they brought, I'm not sure. But I don't think we used it too well. I think Cripper played okay. I think when he got that goal, you can almost see it running through his mind that time when he got tackled last week. I don't know, because it was sort of a similar situation where he maybe could have given it off. And then you can sort of see it playing through his mind. And then he kicked a goal, and I think that was good for his confidence. He still played an okay game, but not to the standard he would usually play. But I do think that Fisher stood up, Zach Fisher, third for metres gained on the field, which is pretty good for the little fella. He was the everywhere sort of man with 450 metres gained, and he got 27 touches. So I thought he played easily, probably one of his great, two behind. Even if one of them's a goal or whatever, I think he plays the greatest game of his career almost.
Spot on.
Yeah, no, he's been superb, and we've been saying that for a few games this year. It's been the best game in navy blue, and he just keeps getting better and better. I think he just provides something different to our other mids. I think his pace, and he cuts angles, and he's a bit silky. Guys like obviously Cripps and Hewitt and Kennedy are kind of bulls, and Walshy's just that kind of all round player. But Fish just provides something else, and maybe the coaches look at, maybe we, bring in someone else that can have, play a different role, add a bit more pace. Maybe that's what we're lacking. I'm not sure. I like our midfield group, but they just tend to get a bit, I don't know, just a bit just sluggish a little bit.
It's good to have variety, isn't it? Like a few different types of midfielders, which I think he definitely, he could be in the sense that I don't watch a lot of basketball, but like he's that sort of player who could like break your ankles in the sense that he can get around you. He's just so quick to maneuver himself. And the way he does that is good. Like he's not a big bull like Cripper would be, but no, the way he could embarrass a player quite easily and run around him. And I think he's pretty silky.
Yeah, and he just provides something else. We'll move up forward, and we've touched on these two big fellas, and Harry and Charlie. I think Charlie was good for mine. I think he, considering the delivery, he still kicked 3 goals. So you look at that, and he's equal high in the game. I think leading the column by 4, I believe, at the end of the round. So, what were your thoughts on our forwards, Pato? I think for mine, you look apart from Harry and Charlie, I just don't think our half forwards were there all night.
Yeah, absolutely spot on. Because with last week, we were kind of asking for these key forwards to stand up, and I thought, as you said, I think Charlie was good. It was one of those guys that really tried to dig deep for his team. But yeah, I don't even think Harry was even bad. I just think that he was just simply outclassed by STK, who hasn't played many games whatsoever. So yeah, he was absolutely terrific, SDK. So I think Mackay, you can't really ask much more because he, you can tell that he tried. He had his opportunity. He had a set shot. I think it was the last quarter. I think maybe the third. But he had a set shot when he probably had to kick it and he just didn't convert. And I just think that's just down to his confidence. But yeah, guys like Corey Durden, he's we were talking so much about him, and always at the start of the year saying, God, these guys are great. Like these guys are these types of small forward fleas, and now he's not doing much. Like he finished the game with 0 tackles. What's his role then if he's not kicking goals? So I don't know. Yeah, just other than that, I don't know.
No, I agree. Like if he's not getting more than at least 4 tackles a game, well, what are you there for?
What's he doing?
Unless you're kicking bags of goals, what are you there for? Carlton, what were your thoughts on the entire forward line?
Yeah, I'll preface it by saying we had 42 inside 50s. They did only have 51 and still managed to have more scoring shots. But what do we have? 42 inside 50s, but just not a huge amount. It's 13 below our average. So I think they did okay for what they had. I don't think Harry was too good. What was that? 15 scoring shots for 42 inside 50s, whereas they had 25 scoring shots for 51. So basically once every 2 times the ball went inside 50, they impacted the scoreboard, whereas ours is a bit closer to 1 every 3 times. Not quite, but pretty close to that. And then once we did get it in there, we used it at 42%. And I think Charlie was okay. I think he tried to take the game, as we said, by the scruff of the neck, and he sort of throws himself around when he kicks a goal. And I think it's good, tries to spark a few people up. But Harry, for mine, I think SDK just wore him like a glove, and not even just in pure strength, because I think he realised that he's probably not going to beat him like that, because Harry's a big boy, but it could come down, as you said, inside 50, but he seemed to make Harry almost run under the ball and just wasn't in the right position due to whatever. But I think it was pretty average all around. And as you said, Corey Durden, I think, is another one that didn't really have much impact, if any impact at all, on the game.
Yeah, and it's a topic we talk about. I think it's Jack Martin. I think he probably has to come in. So did he play on the weekend too?
No. Don't believe so.
Yeah, it's a weird situation with him. It's like, we want to bring him in, but is he fit? I don't know. But I think he's just that natural half forward. I know we talk about how we got frustrated with him when he was playing, but he's kind of that guy we need. Yeah. I think when you look at next week, I think Pito coming back in, you got guys like Silvani and Cripps being able to push forward more, because Cripps has been in the ruck contest, which has really slowed down his game and season, in my opinion. I don't think it's helped him at all. He hasn't really shifted forward much, has he? Most of the time he's in the middle. And when he's on the middle, he's on the bench. So we'd rather him forward, because he's not going to be able to get in these. He was getting those 30-3 games at the start of the year. Quickly to add, the ruck contest between Teddy K and Big Reece Stanley, who is a very, I don't know. I think it's just the one thing that might hold the Cats back in September. But what were your thoughts on the matchup, Pato?
I thought Stanley was actually quite solid. he got 5 more hit outs into Connie, and he got the exact same touches as TDK, and he also got a goal to get the Cats going. So I thought Stanley was okay. I mean, as you said, I don't think he's a great ruckman. I just think that's probably the best we'll kind of see Reece Stanley. TDK, once again, he just keeps on improving. I thought he was pretty solid. I thought he was close to best on ground. I think he was one of those guys that just tried his hardest. As soon as he hit that goal, as we mentioned before, he really tried to get his side over the line, and unfortunately, his other teammates just didn't help him out. So I mean, other than that, I just think this progress of this stint with TDK having a few matches of him actually being the sole ruckman when Pitnet comes back, that we'll touch on a little bit later, that will be terrific for him.
Yeah, and it's funny enough, been 13 weeks without Pitto, so it's a pretty good effort. And people look at it from my perspective. We're 7th. You got to be happy with that. What were your thoughts on TDK's game, Sammy?
Yeah, I think you said there was 13 weeks without Pitto. They won't make 14 because he had 22 hitouts in the twos. I think he played very well. Murkoff had 17, and he definitely helped him out. And I think just seeing the way he helped out Murkoff, I'd love to see him help out TDK the same way. We didn't really see them play together a hell of a lot just because he's been out for so long. But I think it'd be good to see. I think TDK was solid, but he had 5 less hitouts. So yeah, I think he's been great in that period where Pitto has been out. But I'm looking forward to seeing Pitto back into Giants.
Yeah, and just with Pitto, I think he's that big body that can TDK being the second ruck, he can kind of just get into the other ruckman, just physically. And then once TDK comes in, he can fly at the ball. The other ruckman might be a bit sore or a bit, just a bit wary of his energy or something like that. But because that first 3 rounds, I thought Pitto was superb. Yeah. I think his ruck work as well just really works well with our mids that we currently have. So it'll be really exciting to see this week. But that's it for the matchups. On to you, Sammy.
Beautiful, mate. And just on that, Martin did not play twos, so I'm not sure if he's injured there. I can't quite remember. But well said, mate. There's definitely a few areas that we definitely lost the game, I guess. It was 8 inside 50s to 8 marks inside 50 to 16. So we weren't really marking it inside 50. And then when it got brought to ground, we didn't. That's where the Durden should be, and didn't really do much. And I think Charlie, in the sense that if the delivery is shit out and he can't mark it or can't quite pull it in, he's that versatile that he can sort of pick it up and run around and still do some stuff with it. But I think Harry, although he's a challenge, I think he's exactly like that. He's more like the sort of mark and goal type one. No discredit to him, he's still a great player. But that's just my belief. How do you see it, Eve?
Yeah, it's tough. I think our inside 50s were terrible. In some instances, there was just no pressure going forward sometimes. It's just that poise. We're just rushing it a little bit. I know, you're facing a good side and you're at the G and there's a lot of pressure on you, but surely at this time of the season, what is it, round 18, you start to get used to the pressures of AFL footy, especially for young guys. I know, we've progressed well. We've just got to think about that. We've progressed well in the first year of Aussie, and we've got a lot of young boys, and they're playing against a Geelong side who's well over mature. They are every player on the ground, except for you go SDK's young, but geez, it must be easy playing footy with that system. Seriously, you've got guys like Tui taking marks. They're bigger bodies. For mine, we were laying tackles and they were still getting hands out. I was like, what the fuck's going on? They're taking marks and it was just that they allow themselves that extra second by being clean with their hands and taking marks. And you know how we were fumbling? They weren't fumbling. They don't fumble. They take it makes such a difference. Because if Isaac Smith takes that ball, the first go, he can give it off or run on, hit at Hawkins. If you fumble, then Harry's already up at the ball. He's already let at the ball. Then he has to go back, and then it's all over the fucking place. It's simple stuff, and I think basic skill errors just cost us and obviously hurt our forwards' performance.
I agree. Yeah, as you do fumble, obviously, as you said, that the defending player has that extra few seconds to make that ground, but then it stuffs up the next bloke who was pretty much ready to receive it. He's got someone come to him now, and it's just completely fucked the whole thing. You tackle him, and hence why we had 10 more turnovers there. And just another one, we had marks inside 50 was 8 to 16. Marks overall, we took 82, which is about almost 20 less than our average, and 4 of which were contested. We took 4 contested marks for the whole match. You expect Tommy DeConing at the end of a game to take about that usually. That's about 7 less than our average, whereas they took 11. Like they were just, it was all over us. But Pato?
Yeah, inside 50s, absolutely atrocious. And yeah, like I just think they're like, wow, I mean, that is very poor having 4 contested marks. Like, mate, like, I mean, it's not like we are lacking tools or anything. Like, it's not like we were changing our system the way that we play because we don't have Harry or Charlie up forward, or we don't have Weeders or Young down back. Like, mate, we have all of our tall players, but the only tall player that really isn't there is Pitnet. So, yeah, but I mean, just the inside 50s were absolutely atrocious. Like, as I said, I don't think Harry really played bad because he didn't really have enough opportunities to really mark the ball. Like, of course, he wasn't great. Like, I mean, we have to say that, but it's not really his fault. It's not like he had so many opportunities, multiple opportunities, because his midfielders were helping him out. But yeah, just the inside 50s, just the hack kicks in, and I'm like, as I said, just the experience from Geelong, like they know, and I feel like they just those hacks, like the hack kicks, and as we were speaking about before, us kicking it around the ground, that helps Geelong because you get guys like Blixars back. You have SDK who's going to absolutely like he loves that because he plays behind his opponent. So if it's on Harry's head, SDK bangs it over the line, and then it's a reset. Stanley V, yeah. So it's just stuff like that, like just trying to think of other ways to win without putting it in the strengths of Geelong and what they do well, and that's exactly what they do well. And I'm saying this right now, this is only going to help Carlton because playing in these types of games, finals like games, to me, what like watching it, that was a finals type game. Like, yes, we didn't live up to it, but if we do play finals this year, hopefully we do. That's only going to help us hopefully achieve something this year, if not in the next few years to come.
Speaking of finals, is it literally just how many wins do we need just to say yes, it's a sure thing? 2, that's what I was going to say, 2. And then GWS and Adelaide, you think we're...
Next two we're in. I reckon you've got to get the job done early. You don't want to be beaten. I know Brizzy are a little bit off, but, you know, they're good over there. Obviously, Melbourne, even they're a little bit off. Like, we can beat any of these teams, the next 6, obviously, based on how we've played. I'm not counting us out in any of the games, but, geez, the next 2 are very, very important.
Pato, how many wins do we need, mate, to make the finals, or have we already made them pretty much?
Oh no, we have not made it. Like we are 7th on the ladder with plenty more games to go. Like we were 5th on the ladder last week, and then we were looking for a top 4 spot, and then now we're 7th, 2 spots out from the 8th. So yeah, I mean, it probably helps. We're 2 games in front of Richmond. Them losing to North Melbourne on the weekend definitely helps. Like, let's go. Like, how good was that? I was like, come on, the Kaggers. When Zerha hit that goal, but it's Kangaroos chat. But I think overall, as Duff said, I just think we just need those 2 games. Like it's kind of in our hands now. Like we have the opportunity the next 2 weeks to get this job done to get secured into finals. And I just think we just use those last few weeks to really adjust to the finals feeling.
Absolutely, mate. Well said. Yeah, the Kangas one was interesting. They get smacked by 100 points every week. They finally actually show up against Collingwood, and the coach gets sacked after that game, and then they win the next week. But anyway. Was quite interesting, but yeah, all right. I'll fire a couple of questions at you, and you just tell me if you reckon. So yes, no, you agree. Give me your thoughts on it. Were we outplayed more than we were outcoached, and what do I mean by that? So like, I think Harry went up the ground a little bit there towards the end, and I feel like stuff started to happen a little, like an actual sort of change sort of started to happen, and I think that did change a few things, and he did the same against West Coast there, and like that sort of changed then as well, although not to the same effect, obviously. But were we outcoached, outplayed, a bit of both, Heath? What are your thoughts, mate?
I think we're outplayed. It was just the way we lost was off skill errors. I don't think it was based off real structure or system for mine. Obviously, maybe the way that our wingers were playing, they were going inside more than outside, which really just made the game in tight, which Geelong wanted. We just didn't have that spread that we usually have through guys like O'Brien, especially O'Brien off the wing, who's just that perfect winger who can go wide. But yeah, I think outplayed for mine.
Hello.
Yeah, outplayed, outcoached completely. With how Geelong and how experienced they are, like once again, they are just consistent every single year. Like I had them, no way they were making the eight. Even halfway through the year, we were like, nah, there's no chance that the Cats will make the eight. And then all of a sudden, 8 in a row, top of the ladder. I mean, they completely outclassed the Premiers last week, and they beat a potential top 4 side this week. So I know. I just think that completely just their leaders stepped up. Also, their young guys, like once again, Jack Henry. Like I thought he was pretty good. Like yes, he was on Charlie Kono, and Charlie Kono played a pretty good game, but I think Jack Henry was pretty good, and Max Holmes as well. He was really good. Like so, I think there were a few guys from there and that really stepped up, but yeah, just outclassed, really outclassed.
Yeah, absolutely. You sort of love to hate. I love to hate the Cats and their coach Scotty, and but he genuinely, and I'm sure Vossi does. I'm sure they all do. Like he's been there for a while, so it's probably rings true there. But he cares about his players. Like he's very like almost protective. I don't remember I can't remember who he got into the argument with that time, but he absolutely abused one of the other players. Was it from Brisbane? I can't remember who it was. Lachie Neale maybe. Anyway, next question. Lewis Young. I know we both love him, especially you, East. I don't know, just sometimes he gets a double fist to it, which is always great. I love spoiling and all that. It's very good, but sometimes I feel like it's almost uncontested spoiling in the sense that he could take the mark over the double fist. Like, I'm not going to say all the time you can get the double fist, you should be able to mark, but like, it doesn't seem much different. I don't know. Ethan, does he spoil too much? Could he mark some other times perhaps, or what are your thoughts?
Yeah, on Saturday night he spoiled too much, and there was a few instances where double fisters just take the mark, Louis. Because like he initially, I think the first half of the year, or especially most of the year, he's been a kind of mark first defender, in my opinion. I know he had 21 spoils against Richmond, which was ridiculous because it was just wet and he played really well. But yeah, he's just stopped. I think both of them, obviously, Wiedering coming back from injury. You know, shout out Wieders, we love you, mate. But it's just, it was just a bit like they weren't really attacking the ball, were they? Like in a sense, even the spoils weren't great spoils. There's a few times, it might be just a lackluster spoil where it barely gets out. You want spoils that are hitting the fucking row Z, mate. But yeah, too many spoils. I agree. Too many.
That's
spoils.
a lot of players that I like that do that. Like Liam Jones, I think was pretty good in this. He would be hitting it up to the nosebleeds, and certain other players that did it. Whereas I think they were half-assed spoils, where sometimes they went straight down the throat of a Cats supporter, Cats player. So it was like, was it really worth it? Sort of more try and go towards the boundary. I don't know. Pato, what was your thoughts, mate?
I do hope that a lot of the spoils will be going to a Cat supporter because that means that it would be in like Rosette. But
yeah,
but I think I think Daz said it perfectly there. I just think Lewis Young, because with me, how I see it is when players kind of tend to spoil more than marking, it's just confidence wise. But how Lewis Young isn't more confident in his footy, like he's playing the best footy of his life, and he's playing for a big Melbourne club. I mean, it was said during the week that we have the most support. We had the most attendance, the highest attendance rate, I think, for the game average. For the year average wise, I think that's pretty good. Obviously we have a lot more success this year, but he's playing for a big club, and I don't know how him pretty much being the key back, like arguably the most important position on the field, how you just aren't a little more confident. But maybe he tends to spoil more because he's just more confident with that and he thinks that's the right way to go. But there are plenty of times on the weekend where I just saw it. I was just like, mark it, Louis, just do it. Just mark. And I think that even if we were trying to see him mark and maybe drop a few, that might look worse than him spoiling and somewhat fucking it up. But I think there's other ways to do it, because I just think just down to Lewis Young, he just didn't get enough support down there.
Absolutely, mate. Oh, I completely agree. All right, last question is going to be on the small forward. If you in your best 22, out of all of our small forwards, who do you include? Who makes the cut? Is there room for sort of like all? Is there room for the three of them? How many are you sort of seeing fit the team, and who are they?
Pato? You go, Pato.
Jack Martin, lock. Durden, lock. Always lock.
Okay, interesting. Ethan?
Yeah, if you consider Jack Martin a small forward, is he a small? I don't know.
If you
I
consider
think
him a small forward, there's probably room for the other two, like Pato said. I think it's a
Harry's not in for mine. He's in Durden. Hopefully, there's one man that I think might come back finals time, and his name's David Cunningham. He could be that type of player that can play that kind of Zach Fisher role, play small forward, but also go into the middle. And he has that pace, hasn't he? That breakaway pace that we may lack a little bit of. So, but for mine, just Owies and Durden are the small forwards. I think you just got to back him in. I think Durden probably, I don't know if he'll get dropped this week. I just don't know if he can drop him, but I know he wasn't good. I'm saying he could be dropped, but they just seem to like what he's about. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. Well said, mate. That is very good. Alrighty. I think that's about it for the questions. There is a comment on the YouTube as well. Shout out just on the YouTube as well to the 301 subscribers. Yeah, we appreciate the support and getting around us, and keep it up. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. One of the comments on the most recent episode, boys, from Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch. So Mark, could be Mark Wahlberg. We don't know. Going to start producing t-shirts. Is where Speechley. Well, where is Speechley? I think he is in Cairns at the moment, I believe. So he could do with a bit of sun. Hopefully, he's tail. But no, we hopefully he's back in the next few weeks. He is well. He is still alive. But hopefully we can get him back on in the next few weeks, boys. And I think that's about it. Anything else to add?
Of course, best on ground, Sammy boy.
Best on ground. All right. Are we still doing that? Yeah. Sorry. Was there even a good player? All right. All righty. We'll get stuck into our best on ground now to wrap it up. I went with the slippery fish. I think he just played, as you said. If them two behinds were goals, it's easily his best game of his career. I still think it probably is. 27 disposals for him this time a couple of years ago was unheard of. He's a hard to shake sort of player. He's slippery. He can just break your ankles, just run around you and embarrass you, just like Daisy Thomas did. Was a gold sack that year. But yeah, Ethan, who have you got, mate?
Yeah, Zach Fisher. He's got a bit of the old fish about him, the 99 game king and Brad Fisher. But Zach, he's good. I like the way he goes about it. He's got a bit of toughness about him, a bit of CUNT about him. But
hey,
good to see. It's good to see, and he's just evolving like a lot of these players are. And head up, Blue Baggers, because seriously, round 19, and we still give a fuck about this season. Just think about that. We still give a fuck.
Absolutely, mate. Pato?
I think Walshy. I have Walshy. I mean, I think it's more down to stats. I think the stats got in front of me. I'm not really a huge fan about the stats. I'm more. I mean, when I was playing, I was more like the 1 or 2 touches game, but laid a few tackles. But I think Walshy was good. I wanted to go Fisher, but I just thought I would go with someone different. 33 touches with 88% efficiency, which I thought was actually pretty fantastic from Walshy. Once again, I just think Walshy just keeps on showing up. So other than that, just really no one else. I know the Sam Doctor, he finished with 29 touches, but did he really dominate the game? I think Geelong also, we haven't really spoken about him tonight either, but Sardi, I think they held off Sardi quite effectively. And I don't know if that was a tagging role, maybe even a close win to him. I'm not too sure, but I think Sard was definitely they would have put like a marker around Sard before the game and during the week saying we can't let this guy dominate the game. So I think he was held off quite a lot during the game. But other than that, I think I'll probably go Walshy.
Beautiful, mate. Well said. I think it's a good point on Sard too. He definitely wasn't his best game. He had 17 disposals in the end. So, but yeah, 13 of them were kicks, which is crazy. He does love to get on the boot, which is good to see. But I think that's about it, boys. Anything else to add?
Let's just heads up because it's round 19 and we're clear favourites this week. So let's get the job done.
Well said, mate. Alrighty. As always, thanks for listening or watching wherever you get your content. And thanks for the subscribing and doing all the like sort of stuff. Daffy's got the scarf there as well. So as always,
And as always, boys, the Baggers.